Now let's get some rapid-fire response from our panel on these stories. The Obama administration wants to wiretap the internet so that they can catch criminal and terrorist suspects who communicate online. And flame-throwing Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson of Florida is out with another tough campaign commercial comparing his Republican challenger to the Taliban. With us tonight, Sirius XM radio talk show host Joe Madison and nationally syndicated radio talk show host Michael Medved. Gentlemen, good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Michael, we got to keep America safe, so we better let the government check our email, don't you think? What do you make of this?
Well, I think this is another example of an area where President Obama has followed the lead of the Bush administration, and wisely so. How's that closure of Guantanamo going? The truth of the matter is that, especially when you have people like Anwar al-Awlaki, who are calling for the death of literally hundreds of thousands of Americans, it is important that our counter-terror efforts continue and that they also include the Internet.
What do you think, Joe?
Well, I'm one who might take a different viewpoint on this. I may surprise you. Most of the necessary need for this comes from local law enforcement agents who are trying to catch drug dealers and people who do kidnapping. And now, because they can't tap the basement wire like they used to, just go in, get a court order, tap the wire, now it's Internet, now it's cyberspace, and you need this permission. The problem we have, and I think we all agree with this, is we don't trust government when it comes to looking at the average citizen's Internet response. There's the real dig, but this may be a national security issue because times have changed, Ed. It's not the old wiretapping like it used to be.
Well, I totally agree with you on that, Joe, but the fact is that the American people have got to be guaranteed that there's going to be some oversight and not some targeting that's taken place. Michael,
and who's going to do the oversight? Right.
Well, that's true. You get people. You get a political team in power, and they go after people personally any way they want to, and they can create a picture of someone that's not very favorable. Is this necessary, the oversight, Michael? And how are you going to do
it? Some oversight is certainly necessary, without any question, as we've always had with our wiretapping efforts. But the truth of the matter is that, look, people say all the time that you guys on the right, you don't give the president any credit. I do give the president some credit in his general conduct of our counter-terror operations. He gets credit, just like President Bush deserves credit, for having kept us safe for the time that he's been in office, and I hope he continues.
Gosh, you're getting soft on us here, Michael. What's going on here?
This is not partisan stuff.
Did you
Keeping
read
America safe is not a partisan issue.
That's what you did. You read my book. I've really softened you up quite a bit. Look, gentlemen, we are just going to give the Obama administration and the government just free rein to go into the Internet. I mean, I think you're going to have some new measures of oversight to make sure that people's lives are still going to be safe personally. I mean, this is how people are politically destroyed, and the wrong people get the wrong power. Who knows what you're going to come up with?
Yeah, well, we both, I think all three of us came up during that Hoover era, especially in the civil rights movement where, it was just abusive. And there's the real concern. So just announcing that I want this without the oversight, you're absolutely right. Everybody's right here. Who's going to do it?
I understand catching criminals and catching terrorist suspects and all that kind of stuff, but I also know that people in government can do some pretty tough things if they want to, if they're not checked out. All right, the flame-throwing Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson has the hearts, the love, and respect of many, many progressives across this country. He has come out with a blockbuster commercial, and here it is, calling his opponent the Taliban. Here it is.
I'm Congressman Alan Grayson, and I approve this message.
Religious fanatics try to take away our freedom in Afghanistan, in Iran, and right here in Central Florida.
Wives, submit yourself to your own husband.
Daniel Webster wants to impose his radical fundamentalism on us.
She should submit to me. That's in the Bible.
Webster tried to deny battered women medical care and the right to divorce their abusers.
Submit to me.
He wants to force raped women to bear the child.
Submit to me.
Taliban Dan Webster. Hands off our bodies and our laws.
Joe Madison, is that over the top?
Yes. I mean, it really honestly is. He doesn't have to do it that way. I mean, what he said, obviously, he's taking Daniel Webster's words, but this association with the Taliban, look, we're at war with the Taliban. We're not at war with Daniel Webster and the radical right. They're not shooting women in the back of the heads. They're not stoning women. I mean, I hate to put it like this, but it's over the top. And Grayson doesn't have to do this. He's got a great record to run on. That's what I wish he would do, is run on his record.
Well, it just seems to me that this is an indication of how desperate and how worried Alan Grayson is. He has a ton of money. He's raised as much money, I believe, as any Democrat running for re-election in the country. And if he has to use his money like this to talk about a veteran politician and a veteran office holder in the state of Florida and to compare him with the Taliban, this is also a deeply bigoted ad. Because if he is saying that people who are evangelical Christians, with whom he may disagree religiously, are people with whom you're going to compare to the Taliban and compare to killers and oppressors and terrorists, it's completely unconscionable and too typical of Congressman Grayson.
But Mike, let's be careful now. I mean, he's not the only one doing this. I mean, you know, we do have people on the right who have compared Obama to Hitler, to Marx.
That's my, that's a key point.
Very few of them.
And that's why I think
this is not every congressman either. I mean, when you say very few,
this is such a very important point here, because for once there is a liberal out there who's willing to play on your home field there, Michael Medved. I mean, he's taking it right to you the same way the Republicans have done it to liberals and Democrats. So, but I think the bigger point here is that this guy's views on women is clearly out of the mainstream, and of course so is the Taliban. You know?
No, again, if you want to debate some of the actual issues and what Dan Webster has called for in terms of legislation, that's perfectly legitimate.
That's weak.
But to take a speech that he gave in church out of context and to attack him for his religious viewpoint is playing dirty pool.
If Republicans left the politics at the altar and didn't talk about it when they got up on the stage, I would go along with that. But they have politicized churches in this country in a big, big way. Michael Medved, Joe Madison, got to run, gentlemen.
Okay.
Great to have you with us.